Welcome. In this video, we will provide an overview of how to use HPE iQuote. iQuote is your HPE channel integrated configure price quote tool. Depending on your region, some distributors have iQuote integrated so that their reseller partners can have an even more integrated experience. This video is based on iQuote Universal, which is a free service available worldwide for channel partners, customers and IT consultants. With this, you can browse popular HPE server, storage and networking products and create fast, accurate configurations that you can export to request a quote from your distributor or reseller. Go to iQuote.hpe.com to register or log in. You will need to select your country as the availability of some solutions may vary from region to region. Here we can see the easy-to-use, intuitive user interface. Along the top we have these tabs. The Browse tab will return you to this screen at any point, where you can browse for products and solutions to build your quote. As you do begin to build a quote, the system that you have selected will appear on the right-hand side, but you can clear these and start afresh using the New Quote tab. Any quotes that you have saved will appear in the My Quotes tab, where you can also transfer quotes to others or pick up quotes that have been transferred to you. We'll show this towards the end of this video, after we have created a quote. Because HPE iQuote is based on current pricing and availability data, we have provided the ability to re-evaluate saved quotes, which checks for changes such as price, savings, menu rules, amongst other things, so you can be sure that your quote is up to date and based on the very latest information. In the Tools tab, you can import a shopping list from a spreadsheet. And finally, click on the Resources tab for training materials and other useful information. We are currently in the Browse section, where we can begin to build a quote. During this video, we will explore each of these tiles in more detail, but let's get started using the Solutions tile. There are different links within this tile. These may vary from region to region, but you will see the Solutions link. These are the predefined workload-optimized solutions. In the top section, there are a number of filters that allow you to refine the selection, and then in this section, we can see the top-level information about each solution, such as description and list price. We could use the search function to find, say, a server type, but here we will use the filters to refine our selection based on the information we have about our customer. Starting with the SMB use case, in other words, the workload. In our case, we know that the customer needs a solution to address their remote workers' needs, so we can check this. And now refine it further, as we know that they desire a rack-based solution. We could keep on refining this based on what we know, but here we are just going to select the mid-expandability option and then take a look at the list. We can view each and any of these to see more detailed information before adding to the quote. Notice this icon here, which indicates that the solution is part of HPE Flex Offers. Click View, and we can see the details, including the price and the HPE Flex Offer savings. Remember that the final price will come from your distributor, but this is a very good indication. Clicking on this plus sign will expand the section, and you can add optional items by checking the Include checkbox if required. If this is not the solution you need, then you could go back to Selection, or, if it is, click Add to Quote. Here we have selected a solution and clicked on Add to Quote. The solution is shown here on the right, and we can see that this particular solution has met all the Flex Offers requirements, so we can already see the savings. We could purchase this just as it is, but we can also refine the configuration. Clicking here will show all the pre-installed items. We could change the quantities in these fields, or we could add items from within this configuration panel. Simply find the item you need and then add it to the quote. Again, note the Flex Offers icon indicating that this is a qualifying option. Before we save this quote, let's take a look at these validation messages. Some messages are for information only, and some may be warnings that must be acknowledged before you can proceed. In iQuote Universal, this fulfillment feature lets you see the current stock levels amongst all of the distributors in your region. And now you can save and export this quote. If you know the product that you wish to select, then you can build your quote using one of the products tiles: servers, storage, networking, rack and power, or accessories. You will still get all the guidance you need to create a valid configuration, but here, using the servers tile as an example, we can start to filter by the various configuration options. Let's say we know that there is a need for a lot of internal storage, so we select 12 to 24 drive bays. We understand the performance requirement, so select 10 to 12 cores, which leads us straight to a suitable server, a DL380 Gen 10. When we choose that, we can see that there are two specific configurations available, so we'll add this 10-core version to our quote. From here on in, configuring the solution is achieved in the same way that we have already shown you. But notice that this does not yet meet the FlexOffers requirements. If this is important to you, then you will need to add one more qualifying option, as the requirement is for 4 options, but there are only 3 currently included. You may also have noticed that the Engage and Grow points are shown here. If an option qualifies for Engage and Grow points, then the value will be displayed. As before, check the validation messages and take action as required. So, we have shown 2 ways of creating and configuring a quote. We'll show you more in a moment, but first we should discuss the Reevaluate Quote function. As HPE iQuote uses current data, you can update the data if you have saved a quote perhaps a few days ago. To do this, you'll need both the quote number and the security code. So let's start with those. You can export any saved quotes. Here we're exporting to an Excel spreadsheet. As this is currently a draft quote, iQuote has automatically saved this before exporting. Of course, this requires that you have checked, acknowledged, and corrected any validation messages. Now, in the spreadsheet, we can see all the details, including the quote ID and the security code. The security code is important as it protects you from someone accidentally using this quote ID. And now, to update the quote, use the Reevaluate Quote function and enter your quote ID and security code. If there are any changes, then a new version of the quote will be created. Now, we'll quickly show you another way to build a quote. Click on Tools, and this will appear, allowing you to import a shopping list. You can do this by copying a list of parts numbers and quantities from a spreadsheet. You can also copy cells from any suitable table. Note that the system SKU needs to be the first row and then compatible options. Once you have selected and copied, simply click in this cell and paste your data. Click Add to Quote, and iQuote will check that everything works and will turn your shopping list into a quote. You may have a CTO configuration, perhaps created in OCA. This CTO alternatives tile will enable you to upload the OCA zip file and find the nearest alternatives that are currently in stock, enabling you to meet your customers' needs whilst reducing lead time if that is a concern. Simply import the configuration and click on Find Stocked Alternatives. Where there is a good match, the choices will be displayed. Click on the details to see the specific items that are matched or any unmatched items. Of course, you can then make further configuration choices in iQuote in the usual way once you add to quote. The last tile that we will show in this video is the Competitive Response Selector. With this tool, you can filter selections based on any information you may have regarding a competitor's solution. You can then view and select from the list of equivalent HPE recommended solutions. And just as before, you can then continue to configure the solution as appropriate. At the beginning of this video, we mentioned that you can save, transfer or pick up quotes. Use the My Quotes tab to see all of your quotes. You can transfer any unlocked quote. If a quote is locked, for instance if you have exported it, then you can create a new version which will be unlocked. Click on the transfer icon and complete the fields. Click on Transfer. The recipient will receive an email with a quote, including a pickup code. Only registered iQuote users will be able to access the quote. If someone has transferred a quote to you and you have received the email, then enter your pickup code here and click on Pickup Quote to complete the transfer. Remember, once you have created a quote, the final pricing will come from your distributor. You should share the quote with your distributor using the methods that you have agreed with them. Thank you for watching this Using iQuote video.